unlike any theatre or film production recently, we're going to open with the on-screen ham turned unappealing gammon, Laurence Fox, the man who's single-handedly trying to turn a white privileged male into a psychological horror genre. If he's not burning bridges, he's burning pride flags, and if he's not burning those, he's burning his own reputation to the ground faster than you can say cancelled by popular demand. So let's dissect his recent pestcapades. First, there's the recent foray into amateur photography, sharing upskirt photographs. Now, call me old-fashioned, but that's the sort of behaviour that's reserved for creeps in dark alleys, not someone who fancies themselves as a beacon of moral fortitude. Nothing says champion of the people like invading someone's privacy, like he's swapping trading cards in a game of revenge porn Pokemon, then blaming the victim for not wearing pants when called out on it. Fox's motivation for this was that the victim had mocked former Premiership footballer spunk receptacle turned right-wing shrieking banshee on GB Snooze, Liliane Dowding, who was presumably hired to pry the average GBB's viewer away from 90s nostalgia wanks over a well-stained copy of Loaded. Bravo, Laurence. Bravo. It's like watching a self-proclaimed Michelin-starred chef serve up a meal made entirely of captured stray cat entrails and expired goods from a supermarket skip. Sure, it's a spectacle, but no one's lining up for seconds. Still, that would somehow be more appealing than the sausages Fox cremated for his kids. One has to wonder what's going through his mind. Does he genuinely believe he's on a noble quest for truth, armed with a smartphone and not tilting at woke mills like an alt-right Don Quixote? But fear not, dear audience, for Laurence Fox is not one to be deterred by mere mortals and their pesky laws of decency. No, he's a man on a mission, sadly, to turn his burning of the pride flag into an annual event, whilst posting entirely unself-aware comparisons to the Nazis. Again. Of course, a symbol of love, universal acceptance, is every value that makes Laurence's blood boil faster than a historically accurate depiction of Commonwealth soldiers in a war movie. Watching him set it ablaze was like watching a toddler throw a tantrum in a supermarket. Except for a Kinder Egg, he's crying for the days when bigotry was more socially acceptable. Look at me and my back garden pyromania. That will stop the direction of travel towards greater tolerance and acceptance. Of course, this is all part of his tireless campaign of homophobia. In an era where most of us are fighting for inclusivity and understanding, Laurence is charging backwards on a horse named ignorance. Whilst he's not losing libel cases for shouting paedophile, his attempts at stoking hatred are about as subtle as his dreadful acting performances as the weakest sperm in the acting dynasty, and about as effective as trying to burn down Parliament by lighting his own farts. Recently whining to a crowd of unwashed ghouls he probably loathes,
"This is our home. We have nowhere else to go. If you want the great back in Great Britain, it won't be the politicians. It's down to you, me and everyone else."
Almost impressive, really. To have such unwavering commitment to being a completely backwards anachronism, he's practically a historical reenactment of a brick being thrown at Oswald Mosley. Then there's his recent spat with a bus driver. I'm trying to finish this section and the complete tool keeps giving me more material in real time. It's like trying to paint the fourth bridge if the fourth bridge kept growing another 500 metres each day. Foxwit, behind the wheel of his trusty shitmobile Audi that's seen more MOT failures than he's had Twitter tantrums, was cruising through the streets of London like a lost soul searching for a crumb of relevance, fresh from his appearance at a far-right rally. Suddenly, disaster strikes. His car decides to play a game of chicken with a double-decker bus, and let's just say the bus doesn't blink. Now, most people, when faced with such a predicament, would exchange insurance details and maybe offer a sheepish apology. But not our Laurence. No, he decides to whip out his smartphone? He decides to whip out his smartphone and live streams the whole thing like a modern-day Captain Ahab hunting his great white whale of self-promotion. In the ensuing chaos, Fox rants, "We're in the lane! You just crashed into our lane!" He bellows as if he's the protagonist of some twisted version of Death Race 2000. And when the bus driver dares to suggest he sit down in his car, Fox responds with all the eloquence of Withnail, full of scotch behind the wheel of the clapped-out Jag. "I've only had a few ales, officer." But let's not forget the glorious topping, the expired MOT and unpaid ULEZ charges. The MOT on her Fox's 2-decade-old jalopy was about as valid as his arguments against inclusivity and about as roadworthy as a penny farthing being ridden by Keith Richards. Unsurprisingly, it's not ULEZ compliant, probably something Fox and Hounds thinks is a point of pride. But what's truly remarkable is how Laurence Fox has managed to turn irrelevance into an art form. He's the Da Vinci of obsolescence, crafting masterpieces of idiocy that leave us all wondering how somebody can be so wrong so often and still believe they're the hero of their own story. It's as if he's decided to embody the Dunning-Kruger effect. Not just embody it, but perform it in a one-man show complete with pyrotechnics and unfiltered bigotry. He's about in touch with reality as a goldfish in a bowl of LSD wearing VR goggles. So here's to Laurence Fox, the man, the myth, the cautionary tale of career self-immolation. The gift that keeps on giving, like a box of chocolates laced with arsenic, norovirus and a dog shit assortment. You never know what you're going to get, but you can be damn sure it'll leave a bitter taste in the mouth. May he continue to blaze a trail of misguided indignation, proving to us all that there's truly no upper limit to human stupidity. Bravo, Laurence. Bravo.